Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today I'm working on Austin's new AMC small block for his 1979 AMX. So it's been a while since we've done any AMC stuff, so all you AMC guys are probably feeling left out, but no worries, we are back at it. We've had a couple AMC projects in the mix and we're finally moving forward on one of them. This is an AMC 304 max bore. So it's an AMC 304 bored 100 thou over, which is basically a 4.2 liter piston. So we bought 8 pistons for a 4.2 liter, 2 ring sets, and we had all the machining done by Mike over at M&M. We just got the engine block back, and I realized I didn't do any of the oiling modifications before we gave him the block because time became a crunch and things needed to get done, so I just gave him the go-ahead to do what he needed to do to have it done. I'm going to clean up my oil passages after the bearings are installed. Ideally, you get it's less work to clean it before the bearings are put in it, but that's all right. They'll still clean up fine. So I'm going to clean up all my oil passages. A couple in the front and the front cover I have to open up and just optimize for oil flow. I'm also going to round out my corners because these have a lot of 90-degree angles in the oil passages, so I'm going to round those out with carbide burrs. Carbide burrs. I can't speak this morning. But if you want to see what I do with this, stick around and come along for the ride. So the AMC 304 max bore setup is something that Austin found and buried somewhere in an AMC thread. Lord only knows at what hour of the night, but he learned that the AMC 304 has super thick cylinder walls. So we have AMC 304 crank that's been machined. We've got new bearings. We've got a new camshaft. We've got 304 rods on 4.2 liter inline 6 pistons. And it should make a really torquey, quick revving engine. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see what this combination ends up doing. I'm not sure we know what intake manifold we're going to put on it yet, but we will get to that. We may have to experiment with a couple different ones to find our peak performer, but in the meantime, I'm going to clean up my oil passages and allow for optimal oil flow. There's some discrepancies in the way these were originally done, and there's a lot of things you can do to improve oil flow. I'm actually going to restrict oil flow to the the driver's side galley, and I want to increase my flow or my volume on the passenger side because this side feeds your main it feeds your main journals, which also feeds your rod journals. So we're going to make a couple things change so that we have optimum oil flow inside this engine. And we're going to start with this really big long drill bit. And maybe my other drill. I'm not sure this drill will even chuck this thing up. Ooh, it might. Hey, Milwaukee for the win. The doctor's in. I'm going to need some oil. I don't want to do that dry. Let's get some oil set aside. I'm only halfway in and I've hit a restriction. Ooh, that's not bad. passage up from the oil pump. I want to make sure it's clear. Oh, bugger. This is pretty medieval, but it gets the job done. There, we're all the way through. There's a plug that goes in on that side. So then there's a hole here as well. I can't open it up this big. And then that's got some corners in it I want to round out with a carbide to allow smoother flow of oil. And this guy down in there I want to restrict. I'm trying to remember how I did that the last time. You can plug it. Put a bigger plug here. Yeah, I'm thinking just putting a slug in there that blocks it off. That's not a bad idea. Y'all probably think I'm crazy for drilling holes in my fresh block, but that's what I do all the time. So these holes feed one rod and the mains. So it feeds the mains, which also feeds into the number 1 and number 8 rod. These 3 holes feed the mains, which feed 2 rods, 2 rods, and 2 rods. And I do this on small block Chevys where I open these up just a little bit more than the outers to allow more volume to these rods. That way when you're revving fast, you have more capacity of flow. I've never done this with cam bearings already installed, so I'm either gonna do something really good here or do something really bad and have to put new cam bearings in it, but let's find out. So this oil passage goes right down through there towards that galley, and it feeds the cam as well. So a lot of stuff gets fed by these 3 holes. We want them to flow as much oil as possible. And that one is binding, so we'll clean that too. I think I've already ruined my chuck. It does not like something. It's probably hitting that cam bearing. is, I don't think it's hitting the cam bearing, but it's definitely got a big old chunk of something in there that's making a mess. Didn't sound great, but a bunch of stuff came out of it. Now I have a nice clean path that's not obstructed by whatever that was. It was probably, yeah, all the way into the gallery. We're going to do the same with this one. I'm going to mark my drill bit. So yeah, I am hitting the cam bearings. It'll be fine. Should have done this before I put the cam bearings in. That was silly. Durr. Oh well, we'll fix that. Well, don't do what I do, because I just destroyed a set of cam bearings by trying to deburr my block after the cam bearings were installed. So I'm going to knock these cam bearings out of this block. I have a new set coming, and we'll drive those in there. Then we'll continue moving forward, because that's what you do when you screw up. You figure out how to fix it and you move on. So these holes are all already 5/16. On the small block Chevys, they're smaller than that, which is why I drill the center 3 larger. On these, they should have plenty of flow at 5/16 of an inch to do what I need it to do. So what I just did with the drill bit going down through here to deburr just destroyed the cam bearings instead. So totally my fault. I'm going to go ahead and continue deburring the block and working my front oil passages, because I got nothing else to do right now until I get my cam bearings. Okay, gotta run my drill down that guy too. Let's see what else I can tear up today. That's our oil feed line that comes from our pickup right there. I like to knock the corner out of that as well. This guy here's got a shoulder on it I like to get rid of. Different bit than that. See my gasket for the front cover. Hang on a second. Those actually fit pretty good on this guy. But there's still a bunch of stuff to clean up there. This is going to be a bit. Oh, I think I've got that worked pretty well. My gasket match looks pretty good for oil flow through the block, where before it used to hit a wall right there because that was a huge restriction. So that's really glary. Oh, that's my lowest light setting. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see instead of being a small hole with a shelf all the way around it, now it's matched to the gasket, which will also be matched to the housing. This is my oil flow into the engine, and that was the biggest restriction on this entire oil flow. And I rounded off inside there so that it's got a nice round. It goes into this big port and it rounds around for oil to flow easier around the corner there. It doesn't have to go in and then over. It can make a nice path. So those guys I'm happy with. They'll be about like so. Do a little bit more right there. These are the little things that take the most time, and they are the most frustrating to do, but they're also extremely important because we plan to beat the snot out of this engine. blocking off my main galley. That all it feeds is lifters. I can restrict that oil flow a lot and keep that oil for this side. Although with how I've opened everything up, I may not even need to restrict oil flow to this. It will just hold it as capacity because the lifters aren't going to use that much. So I guess in theory it would just stay there. I don't know. We'll find out. I know that we will find out. I remember how I plugged that last time I did one of these. It's been a while. It's been like 2 or 3 years since we built the last one of these. I think he's put 15,000 miles on that engine, and it runs great.
Well, that's where we're going to leave this one, folks. Richard destroyed a set of brand new cam bearings by doing my block prep, but it is what it is. We needed to get it done. So we got a set of cam bearings that should be here in a day or so. Knock those old ones out, put the new ones in, then we can continue with the reconstruction and building at that point in time. I think we have pretty much everything back from the machine shop. We just picked up the heads as well, so we can get that stuff ready to go. I have all of my other parts, I believe, at this point in time. Yeah, right. And yeah, then we can move forward from there. Once we get that done, we've also got to tackle the 4-speed to 5-speed conversion, because I have a T5 sitting here. We got to get that figured out. That should be a reasonably easy process. And yeah, so that's where we're going to end this one now. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you again very shortly with another AMC engine building video, because this motor needs to be in the car, in running and driving and turning, stopping, with all of my upgrades and everything done, you know, in like 2.5 weeks, and there's a vacation in between here and there. No big deal. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.